Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the Piedmont Unitarian Universalist Church. Piedmont UU sits on the traditional land of the Catawba, Kiawe, and Sugary peoples. My name is Ann Lakaitis, and I will be the worship assistant this morning for our guest speaker, Sam Treadway. We are a flourishing, vibrant, and radically welcoming congregation, which promotes diversity, inclusion, and social justice. We provide a safe haven for creative intellectual growth, spiritual development, and a deep sense of community to all who join us. We hope our liberal religious values will challenge you to join us as a community that lives boldly and acts justly. To all our visitors and members, we're very glad you're here, in person or with us online, and we hope to see you again. Your presence is a gift to us. We have some announcements this Sunday. The first one, Reverend Amy is away on vacation from August 22nd until September 2nd. If you have a pastoral care concern during this time, please email joysandconcerns@puc.org. For other items that need immediate attention, please contact bot@puc.org. Sue has an announcement for us about the upcoming social action event after the church next Sunday. Come on up, Sue.
Good morning. Good morning. The time is now, the people are us, and the future is what we make it. That is from Scott Nakagawa, and it was shared with us at the last class with Caleb Graves of UU Justice NC. And he's going to be here next Sunday after service to lead a discussion on how we organize and act with UU the Vote. Please note, the community potluck is now replaced with individually wrapped snacks and drinks provided by Social Action as a precaution to keep you all well and ready to act. So please plan to join us next Sunday. The postcard party follows on Sunday, September 13th after service. Party snacks will be provided then, and we'll offer guidance and training for writing 2,000 postcards to Mecklenburg citizens who may need some help and encouragement in getting registered and prepared to vote, starting with early voting in October and on Election Day, November 3rd. We need your help. How many can you write? We will be taking orders in increments of 20 after service today. Postcard kits will be delivered to Salisbury on September 6th and University on September 13th at the party. Completed cards will be returned to us a month later to be mailed on October 13th. We thank you now, and we'll see you after service. Thanks.
The Salisbury Women's Group will gather this coming Thursday at 7 p.m. at John Calvin Presbyterian Church in Salisbury. We warmly welcome anyone who is non-binary or identifies as a woman. Our activity is making friendship bracelets and discussing Anam Cara, a Celtic phrase meaning soul friend. We will also plan our gatherings for the year. Come with ideas for planning a monthly topic or activity. Snacks will be provided. Please bring your own beverage. Please email womensgroupsg@puc.org with any questions. We will observe water communion in-gathering 2 weeks from today at both worship services. For this special service, if you are able, please bring a small amount of water from a special place or trip from the summer, which we will add to a communal vessel of water. Jennifer has an announcement for us at this time.
Good morning. I just wanted to let everybody know that the Chalice Circles in person, both in the University and the Salisbury, the registration has closed. But the registration for our virtual Chalice Circle is still open, and we're going to extend that to September 3rd. And we have 2 co-facilitators this year for our virtual Chalice Circle. So we have Vanessa Sampson-Schneider, who was the facilitator last year for the virtual Chalice Circle, and our own Lydia Monahan is actually going to co-facilitate with her this year. So I just wanted to let everybody know we are extending the registration for virtual Chalice Circle till September 3rd. And then I've also had some questions about how to register for the American Struggle book discussion with Ray. You can email me directly, but in the announcements and the newsletter that's coming up, there will also be a registration link just to kind of make that a little smoother process. So if you have any questions, send me an email or you can grab me after service. But have a nice service.
For other important information about our vibrant community, please see your order of service. Or if you are on our email list, please check our monthly newsletter and weekly announcements. Whatever brought you to this place at this hour, we welcome you. May you find something that you need, and may you leave richer in spirit than when you arrived.
Good morning. Good morning. We light this chalice as a symbol of the faith we all share. Not faith as certainty, but faith as openness, the courage to ask, the willingness to learn, and the trust that our lives, joined in love, can help share a future we cannot yet see. Please join me in singing the words to lighting our chalice, the symbol of our faith. You can find those words in your order of service.
Thank
Thank you, Ann. I invite you now to rise in body or spirit for our call to worship this morning. The words are in your order of service. We may never see the harvest. But we will plant. We may never know the destination. But we will walk. We may never see the future we hope for. But we will help create it. This is our faith, not certainty about what lies ahead, but the courage to take the next step and the generosity to leave a little more light for those who follow. Our opening hymn is number 347, Gather the Spirit. It's in your gray hymnal. This is a contemporary Unitarian Universalist hymn, which means we didn't steal it from somebody else, which is what we do so often. It was written by Jim Scott. He is a composer and longtime Unitarian Universalist musician and environmental activist. Let's sing number 347, Gather the Spirit.
Hello. If anybody wants to come join us here on the carpet, you're more than welcome for Time of All Ages. Hello, friends. It's nice to see everybody again. Today, we have a very special story. So today's story is Ruby's Quest, but we have a very special author today. We have Meredith Merritt. She's our author for today's story, Ruby's Quest. And our illustrator is Teresa Diane Lopez. All right. This is Ruby. Ruby, a red dragon, was in the middle of a fight. She decided to act as soon as the battle was over. When Prince Proudhead landed after defeating the enemy, she spoke up. I'm tired of fighting wars that mean nothing to me. I don't want to fight anymore, she confessed. You're a coward, the
prince huffed. "You're no use to me. Get out of here. I'm going to get a real dragon." He snapped his fingers, and Blaze appeared. Blaze's scales glittered black and gold, and he was twice Ruby's size. He snorted out a bolt of white fire, much larger than Ruby could. He looked like he was even big. He looked like he could do an even bigger one if he could be bothered. So who's this? This is Blaze, the big dragon. "Bye, loser," Prince Proudhead bellowed, and he and Blaze spiraled up until they had disappeared into the bright sky. Ruby didn't know how she felt. She thought she had failed and been rejected, but it also seemed like she had been set free. "What am I going to do with myself now?" she muttered to herself. For a few days, she just wandered around, her red tail dragging behind her as she trudged through the dark forest and wide green meadows. She finds a flying contest. She went past a sign that said, "Flying contest, 1 mile ahead." Who do you think is going to be flying? However, when she got there, she saw the contestants were big, dirty, noisy, pushing each other roughly to see who would go next. Ruby didn't see anything that appealed to her, and she resumed her trek, pondering what she should do next. Suddenly, she remembered the hatchery where she had been born. Her snout opened into a big smile. Why not go there? She traveled all day to reach it. Flying the rest of the way. And as she approached the hatchery, she saw a large cluster of brown rocks, field caves for dragons to sleep in. Her heart began to race. Soon she could make out the multicolored oval eggs on the warm sandy patch in front of the rocks where the new mothers were hatching them. "Oh, hey, it's Ruby!" one of the dragons cried. "We could use a little help. They're all about to hatch." "It's really hot. Someone even left her post because she wasn't feeling well. Can you take over? She begged. Ruby quickly settled next to the abandoned eggs. "Come on, keep going. I know you can get out," she urged. She was giving them like a pep talk. "You can come out. You can get out of your egg." That's urge. The shiny globe rocked back and forth, pecking sounds getting louder. Ruby's tail quivered as the tiny hatchling emerged. The babies grew up fast and required lots of attention. To one of them, Ruby said, "Get up on your legs. I know you can walk." The youngster teetered so that Ruby needed to push her little legs up. At first, the tiny dragonettes rested, but with Ruby's encouragement, she quickly planted her feet on the ground. See, this is a little baby dragonette. After several weeks, she knew it was time. The young ones were ready to fly. "Come on up. I know you can do it," she urged one of them, and he flapped, unsure of himself. Finally, the dragon succeeded in lifting his wings and hopped into the air for the first fly-off. Look what he's doing. What's he doing? He's flying. "Give it all you can," Ruby encouraged. Ruby was satisfied, and she decided that feeling content was better than fighting. She realized that Prince Proudhead was a bully and Blaze just a big show-off. This was her real job, helping young dragons. I am a teacher now. And off Ruby goes with all the little dragonettes, helping them teach. You guys ready to come back?
Had a chance to get a sneak peek of Meredith's book, and the artwork and the words are just amazing. So I highly recommend. Thank you, Meredith. We've come to the time of ritual and sacred sharing, a time where sharing our joys and sorrows, our concerns and milestones, a time where we are in hopes that our blessings are multiplied and our burdens are halved. First this week, we light a candle for those impacted by all of the storms we hear about, especially in Hawaii, where the hurricane landed. We light a candle for peace to prevail in the Middle East and our leaders to be guided by visions of peace and not visions of war. We light a candle for all those impacted by ICE activities. For all areas of violence around the world, we light a candle, especially the ongoing war in Ukraine. And finally, we light a candle for our country, the country that we love so much, that we might live into being a society guided by justice and compassion for every person. At this time, you are welcome to come up and fill out a prayer card on our prayer stand, or drop a stone in our shared water, or light your own candle for a joy or concern. Anne will hand you the candle if you wish, if you wish to light a candle. And I invite you to come forward to walk around the outside aisle next to the wall there to make your way. All are welcome at the table. we light a few more candles for those things that are not quite ready for voice or for action, but are still on our hearts. And for those joining us online, so that we can be in unison with them as well. I invite you now to enter into a time of quiet, of rest, of meditation and prayer. We will follow the sound of the singing bowl into the silence, followed by a sung meditation.
We have two wisdom readings this morning. The first comes from the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 1, and offers one of the most enduring definitions of faith. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Our second reading comes from educator Kevin M. Gannon's book, Radical Hope, a Teaching Manifesto. Teaching is a radical act of hope. It is an assertion of faith in a better future, in an increasingly uncertain and fraught present. It is a commitment to that future, even if we can't clearly discern its shape. Simply put, we teach because we believe it matters.
So first of all, if you were expecting yet another edition of the Taylor Swift series, you're at the wrong place. I told Reverend Amy, I was kind of channeling Jeff Foxworthy. You remember Jeff Foxworthy, if this, you may be a redneck, that line he used to have all the time. If you are listening to a sermon and they talk about the Babylonian exile to help explain Taylor Swift's lyrics, then you may be listening to a Unitarian Universalist sermon. Where both writings are held in equal esteem. Yeah. So yeah, this is going to be a little bit different. So I chose the title about faith because if you're like me, I refer to Piedmont quite often as my faith community. And I think sometimes I unintentionally may confuse some folks from mainline churches in what I mean by faith, and probably what you think of as faith. I found it interesting. I brought one of the seminal books in the Unitarian Universalist tradition is A Chosen Faith by Forrest Church and John Burens. I brought the original copy of mine to put on in front of our podium here, and as I was preparing for getting my stuff together, the most recent copy was in the podium. And if you haven't read this book, I highly suggest you read it. It's still very pertinent. It was written in 1989, but it's just as current today as it was then. So the word faith comes, I like to look at the etymology of words. I find that helps me understand where it's coming from. The notion of faith comes from a word, fidere, which is Latin, and it means to trust. And in some ways, to trust in something is kind of contrary to what we're about, because we question. We are leery to trust something just because someone said it. The same root word is also the root word for the words confide and fidelity, which makes sense because trust is involved in those words as well. We have a lot of things that we question. In fact, I think if I took any 10 of you and I asked what happens after we die, I would get at least 12 answers, totally different. So our idea of faith is maybe a little different than our friends that have a doctrinal certainty about the way things work. We do have 7 principles. There used to be more, but we have boiled it down to 7 now. And if you look at those principles that I think we do have faith in, I think we do trust it, you see words like justice, equality, compassion, spiritual growth, right of conscience, the democratic process, peace, liberty, justice for all, and having respect for the independent web of life. All of those things I think we can pretty much agree on in many ways anyway. But the first principle is the one I'd like to focus on today: the inherent worth and dignity of every person. I think one of the things that drew me to this faith tradition is the idea that we all carry the spark of the divine within us. All of us, not a certain few, not a chosen few, but all of us. I think that the faith, when we use the word faith, we're talking about core values that we follow, but that we each individually have a responsibility to find our own truths in wherever we find those. I was one of the stories that came to mind when I was thinking about faith as a Unitarian Universalist was the little engine that could. You remember that, the little engine that could? Because the little engine that could, for those of you that are culturally deprived, the little engine that could there were all these toys and goodies for kids, but you had to get over the mountain, and these big engines made fun of the little engine, and the little engine said that he thought he could, right? Get over the mountain. He didn't know, but I think I can. I think I can. And he said it over and over and over, even reproducing the sound of a locomotive. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. I believe that kind of matches our idea of faith, in that we think we have ideas, but we're open to change. Open and willing to listen is a big part of our faith tradition, I believe. I want to talk about one of the ways that I think we espouse and model faith, and that is through teaching. if you know me, you know that teaching is very, very important to me. For over 60 years, my new year has never been in January, it's been in August. It still is. If people talk about the new year, I don't think of, I don't think of the New Year's Eve happenings or whatever. I think of August and getting ready for the new school year. The root word for teach is talk. It's another Latin word that means to show. And I think to teach means that we show our faith and our hope in the potential of those that are in front of us. They're the ones that we're teaching. I want to tell you a story. And it might be hard for me to tell this story, but it needs to be told. We have two boys, and Risa and I were living in Union County. In fact, we were attending the church at Sharon Amity at the time, and our younger son, David, was right at 1 year old. I had been teaching about 8 or 9 years, and this was during a period when North Carolina had a freeze. So I had been teaching 8 or 9 years, but I was still getting paid the same as a first-year teacher because there was a pay freeze. And I was at that time in my career where, is this what I really want to do? Because if I stay in it much longer, it's one of those decision points. I was also the head football coach at a high school, and we were having a terrible season. And I know that because the Einsteins in the stands made me painfully aware of that every Friday night. And we had lost a game, and it was the next Saturday morning. And we lived in rural Union County, and so young Dave was, again, 1 year old, and we were about out of diapers. And so I offered, as a respite from everything else, I offered to go to Walmart to get more diapers. And the reason we went to Walmart is back in those days, this is 1990, back in those days, that was the only place you could buy diapers on a credit card. So we went to Walmart, or I went to Walmart, drove Risa's car, and picked up the diapers and was on the way back and received a phone call. Now, for those of you younger than 50, you don't know what I'm talking about, but there used to be this thing called a car phone. It was mounted on the floorboard. Okay, so I answered this big old clunker, and the only reason we had a car phone was because it was a company car. And I answered the phone, and it was Risa, and she said, "Where are you?" I said, "Well, I'm only about 5 minutes away. I'll be there pretty soon." And she said, "Well, I'll see you then." Have you ever had a phone call where someone is overly calm? It's obvious they're trying to, they're trying to stay above whatever's going on. Well, that was what it was like, and it was obvious something was going on. So I raced home, and as I rounded the corner, I could see our house. There were probably 9 or 10 red and blue flashing lights, vehicles. There obviously was something going on. And I need to tell you at the beginning that we had just started school, and the superintendent had this, they always have this, slogan thing, and it was "Teaching touches the world." That was the slogan this year. And I'm thinking, yeah, whatever. And so come to find out, while I was gone, David had suffered a seizure and stopped breathing. And he turned multiple colors that humans don't normally turn, of blue and purple and red and things like that. But so the EMT, Risa called 911, and the EMTs came flying in sideways. Back in those days where we were, EMTs were, most of them were volunteers, kind of like volunteer fire departments are now in rural North Carolina. So anyway, Dave was breathing, but there was still lots of concern about what caused the seizure, could it happen again, and that kind of thing. So they were going to transport him in the ambulance, and only one adult could ride with them. So Risa rode with Dave. I farmed out our older son to the neighbors, and I followed in the car. They went straight to the ER in Monroe. And I had to park and all that stuff, so I was behind them. And as I got to the door of the ER, Craig was standing there. Craig was a former student. Craig was a super nice kid, but learning was hard for him, especially book learning. You know, traditional school learning was very difficult for him. And Craig wanted to be an EMT. That's all he ever wanted to do, was to help people. Craig was also on my football team. Craig was a super nice kid. He wasn't a great athlete, though, but he was a great kid to have on the bus. Craig was the first one there. And Craig was at the door because he knew I was coming. And he told me that back, at least in those days, you had to pass an exam to become certified as an EMT, and you could only take that exam 3 times. He had taken it twice and failed. And he told me, he said, I wanted to thank you because you used to forego lunch and would help me before our test in biology. You had to have biology to graduate. And it was tough for him. And so we usually ate lunch together in my room to review biology before the test. And Craig said that plus the idea that in football, when you get knocked down, that's not the important thing, is getting back up. He took it the 3rd time and he passed by 1 point. That was his first day as an EMT. That was his first call on a Saturday morning. And Craig was the first one there. He said, all I could think about was I didn't want to let you down. I reassured him that he did not let us down. And I went on in to find Risa and Dave, and they were in the emergency room. I can't remember a lot of those things, but I remember that the doctor ordered blood drawn to, blood gases, and the med tech came in. It was Elizabeth, a former student. And it wasn't her first patient, it wasn't her first day, but I think it was like her first week. Elizabeth was a pretty good student, but she struggled with chemistry. I taught chemistry at the high school as well. And with nursing and med tech, a lot of times in college, chemistry is kind of like the weeder. That's the one that you really have to get through to move on through the certification process. And she was struggling. And there were some other former students that were nurses, and they asked me if I would do a remedial chemistry course at night at the local community college. And so I did that to help them get through. And drawing blood on a 1-year-old is hard enough, but when your former teacher's watching, who's also the parent, so I decided to step outside so that she could do what she needed to do. And then it was time for the ER doc to come in. That was not a former student, but it was a former parent. The student, Dr. Jones's daughter, was Jennifer. And Jennifer was probably the brightest student I'd ever taught. She was very gifted. In fact, she went on to become a doctor herself at Harvard Medical. And then I've lost track with Jennifer, but the last I heard, she was teaching at the School of Medicine at Johns Hopkins. I helped Jennifer a lot because her mom was a single parent, and being an ER doc, she had crazy hours. And I knew Jennifer, she could teach our courses. She needed to move on, and so I helped her get into the North Carolina School of Science and Math, where she could actually learn something. I tell this story because I didn't believe teaching touches the world. I needed to be reminded, and I was. And that the whole notion of teaching and faith, I think, is very much related. In that the idea of teaching, I was a high school teacher. Imagine the faith that you have to teach kindergarten or preschool. Think about that. The faith you have to have in the potential of the students you're working with. You'll probably never know how it turns out unless they hang around, and still it's going to be 12 years before you have any idea. It is, to me, the ultimate act of faith. I had a former teacher that just retired, one I worked with. She's also a friend. She posted this on social media as our school year is cranking up. She just retired. Being a teacher has taken me to many places on behalf of my students. Hospital rooms at Wake Forest Baptist Burn Center, Hemby Children's Hospital, courtrooms, funeral homes, grocery deliveries to their homes, eye doctor appointments to get glasses for the very first time. This is the part of teaching most people don't see. I'd shave my head all over again for my little Joey, who was going through chemo and wanted a baldy buddy. I'd testify again against a monster of a parent in a hot minute, as the attorney reminded me before trial to not let my anger and disgust be evident. I would visit little Monica in the burn center and pass out from the shock of the experience in the hallway afterwards, but I would do that a million times over. I would argue that teaching is an act of faith. And this is what I want to share more than anything else. You are a teacher. We're all teachers. We are modeling those core values that we say we espouse. People are watching us. We Unitarian Universalists are a little bit different, and they're watching us all the time. It's not something that we can say is not part of our responsibility. And then there's across the hall an opportunity for you to be a teacher. So I bring to you a shameless plug from our sponsors. If you want to be blessed with the gift of teaching, see Jennifer. She tells me there are still some openings that she needs help with. And I assure you, you'll receive the blessing more than the students will. Ann was nice enough to play a request for me for our reflection piece at the beginning of our service, Greatest Love of All. It was recorded by Whitney Houston in 1984. It was written by Linda Creed, who was a songwriter. She was struggling with breast cancer, and right after the release of that album that went to #1, she passed away from the cancer. Most of you probably, if you're above 50 years old, know the words, but let me share with you the beginning of the lyrics of that song. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. A poet that I discovered recently, John Rodell, says it this way: put children in charge of all of your churches and see how playful God becomes. I hope this has helped you understand that we are a faithful crowd. Our faith is maybe defined a little differently than the certainty that some of our friends have. But I think we have certainty in core values that we espouse, and we hear about those in our social justice initiatives all the time. So, faithfully submitted, Happy New Year. Lift up a prayer for our teachers and our students, please. So be it. Amen. Blessed be.
My friend Mindy is going to be singing a song called The Little Flame. by the songwriter and activist Carsey Blanton. Carsey was inspired to write this song after learning many protest songs and finding that she yearned for a song that didn't yet exist. At its heart, The Little Flame is a song of solidarity, honoring the many liberation movements of the past and the present, and the people who make them possible. It holds both the struggle and the hope, and gives us a reminder that we are part of the work that keeps the little flame alive. Mindy's going to ask us to sing the chorus with her, and she'll teach it to you. Pretty easy.
Hey everyone, so like Elaine said, this is going to be a sing-along during the chorus. So I'm going to practice with you one time. So I'm going to sing a phrase and you just repeat it back to me. Okay. Sorry, this is my first time, everyone. 100 years, 100 more. Throw our weight against the door. Even if we don't survive, keep that little flame alive. Okay, good job, everyone. Okay, so when that comes back around, sing with me. Thank you. Okay. Cotton field, the silver mine, Johannesburg, Palestine, broken treaties, dreams to pride, kept that little flame alive. Bobby Seale to Bobby Sands, a picket held, frozen hands, prison cells, freedom lies to keep that little flame alive. 100 years, 100 more. Throw our weight against the door. Even if we don't survive, keep that
Time for giving. We know that the financial contributions to this congregation come from sacrifice and hard work. We are so grateful for this and commit together to ensure the funds we gather collectively to do a greater good for ourselves and our world than they could have done alone. May there be an offering to sustain and grow the life and mission of this congregation. May we give in love and in hope. This month we are sharing our offering plate with Time Out Youth. Time Out Youth's mission is to support lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and questioning youth by offering vital programs, fostering unconditional acceptance, and creating safe spaces for self-expression through leadership, community support, and advocacy. Our host will pass around the baskets, and we ask that you pass the baskets down your row when you receive it. You may place your gift in the baskets as they make their way around the room, and you are always welcome to give online at puuc.org or by texting PUUC at the number 73256. Today's offering will now gratefully be received.
I received these gifts on behalf of a grateful congregation, but more importantly, for all the gifts that you share outside these walls and for a blessed community. Thank you so much for everything you do and offer. Our closing hymn is 298. It's also in your green, I'm colorblind, gray hymnal. Wake Now My Senses. This is an example of one of those that we stole. We took an old Irish melody called Slán, and it became a hymn very well known. You probably heard of it, called Be Thou My Vision. And we took it, and Reverend Mickelson changed it to better fit our UU sensibilities. So I'm going to ask you to rise as you're willing and able, and let's sing verses 1, 4, and 5 of Wake Now My Senses.
Your
Before we extinguish our chalice, I offer many, many thanks. This place is abuzz between 10 and 11 o'clock with all the volunteers it takes to pull off a worship service. And I want to thank everyone. I especially want to thank Ann for her flexibility with me. It really is an amazing how many folks are involved in a worship service. Let's take a moment to give thanks, either in our hearts or with words aloud, for the things that make life worth living. We will pause for that at this time.
I want to thank you for sharing the sermon you gave. I was a bit of a mess just listening to it. So it must have been so difficult to share that, but thank you, because it was really, really good.
Thank you, Hicks. Thank you.
From a sister of two sisters who are teachers, I want to thank you for that message. That means a lot.
Thank you. I think you're probably not the only one that has teachers in their family.
I am grateful for my students in this new semester. We've met this week, and it's been beautiful.
Very good, very good. Best wishes for a terrific year.
How's David?
David is doing fine.
And I am too, even though he had to tell it all over again.
David is fine. He lives in Wisconsin, but getting ready to move to Seattle.
I'm grateful for Mindy's song.
Yes, yes, yes. Mindy's song.
I'm grateful for all the students I've had in the past because I still carry them with me.
Yes.
I hear that they're doing something wonderful and makes me happy.
That's so true, Gail. We carry them with us in our hearts forever. That's for sure.
I'm grateful for Jeff Blum, whose 80th birthday we're celebrating tonight. His birthday's on Tuesday, and his 40 years of service to starting this church and always being faithful to it.
This is Jeff Blum. Any other?
Grateful for everyone that supported Charlotte Pride.
Yes, yes. Charlotte Pride, the support. Yes, and to Gio, right. I offer this closing blessing. Go in faith, friends, not in the certainty that every path is clear, but in trust that each faithful step can and does matter. May what you offer today, a question, an encouragement, a shared word of wisdom, take root in lives and futures beyond our understanding. We now extinguish our chalice, but we carry its light, that divine spark, its warmth and its meaning with us until we meet again. May we go in peace, believe in peace, create peace wherever we wander. May it be so. At this time, we form a... Yeah, teach everywhere. That's right. At this time, we form a circle for our sung benediction, and you may either join hands or feel free to cross your arms across your chest if you'd like.